over to Gigi Graciette right now because she has somebody with her right now. Good morning, Gigi. What can you tell us?
Good morning, everyone. We are with a Malibu resident who has been speaking to us about what he saw early this morning. Adam Blumenfeld, you went to sleep last night. You felt pretty confident because the fire was sort of over the ridge, not even blowing your direction. And what did you see when you woke up this morning?
I woke up this morning and there's a mirror in my bedroom, and I looked in the mirror and the fire had come over the ridge that I thought was safe, and it was just full flames up in the air, encroaching on the house. So that was my sign to get moving.
What goes through your mind? I mean, I can only imagine how stressful those seconds are when you see those flames coming towards your house. What do you do?
What I literally did, since my phone was dead, was search around with my hands for my jeans and everything I could stuff into a backpack and a suitcase. Went downstairs and prayed that my car wasn't in the garage because the power was off. Put everything into the car, figured out a way to get the sensor to my gate open, and got out of the property at about the same time that the fire department came in and said, you should probably get on down the hill.
And now you're watching the hills burning. I can only imagine how stressful this is. You've got neighbors. Right now we heard an ambulance being called actually for one of your elderly neighbors. He's not ill, but he's not ambulatory, so he needs a little help evacuating.
Yeah, it's a little bit alarming. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and first fire season here in California. And when I went out to the front yard, the neighbor, I asked him if he was leaving or not. He's like, absolutely not. I'm staying right here. I said, I'll see you in a little bit. But they advised me to stay. You know, the people that I talked to advised me to stick around in the restricted area because once you leave this area, it's really hard to get back in. So I'm just kind of in no man's land for a little bit here to see what happens.
That's right. When you have folks at home, when you have a mandatory evacuation order, that basically means that you're being ordered to leave. They can't force you to leave, but once you do leave, they do not allow you back in. If it's an evacuation warning area, then you can go in and you can go out, although it's not recommended. So you're going to stick around and you're just keeping a close eye on that hillside and hoping that everything's okay.
That's exactly right. And I'm shocked to see the amount of patches of smoke and fire that are developing just in random little places. So I have no sense for A, where the wind's going, and B, how close this actually gets to my house up on the hill.
This is your first fire season here in Malibu?
It is my first official fire season. We bought the house a year ago, and we're from, like I said, Texas, where it's a little bit more docile when it comes to fires. So, yes, new experience watching deer run away from fire over the hill compared to anything normal.
Yeah, you were standing with us when we were watching that live as the deer tried to get away from the fire. The wildlife, of course, also affected here. And one of the things you and I were talking about is how erratic those winds can be. The Santa Ana winds, they're infamously erratic. They can blow in different directions. That causes yet another challenge for firefighters. And these fires can spot ahead. You went to sleep last night. The fire was nowhere near your house. You looked at the wind. It's blowing away. But overnight, the wind shifted. The fire spotted most likely, and then it's all of a sudden near your house.
Absolutely. When I went to sleep last night, the wind was blowing at about 50 miles an hour the opposite direction. I looked up online at that point. When the wind is blowing that direction, does it take the fire with it? The answer was absolutely it does. So I went to sleep for about 3 hours, and then I woke up and everything had changed. And that was a real shock to me.
And you and I were talking, you know, unfortunately I've covered dozens of these fires. I've seen so much loss. It's absolutely heartbreaking. There's going to be a lot of loss here in Malibu. We saw a home burning down earlier. We have reports of at least 2 others that are total losses. When there's a fire and it's a wind-driven and topography comes into play, those winds shift on a moment's notice and the fire can come right back at you. So I'm sorry you're going through this. Welcome to Malibu, and I'm so sorry. The folks here are very resilient. They've lived through this so many times, and as they always say, we're going to rebuild because we love our community.
Thanks for saying that. I love it out here. It's beautiful, and I hope it stays that way, and I hope they get this fire under control, and I'm sure they will.
They're working very hard. Adam Blumenfeld, thank you very much. My best to your family. Probably watching this from Texas, watching what's happening in their new community.
Thanks.
And Adam's story, like many people, they went to sleep, the fire was nowhere near their house, and they woke up to the major fire. Again, we're on the 22,000 block of Pacific Coast Highway. The fire has been burning behind this house here. Firefighters are staged up and down on that ridge for structure protection in people's driveway. And earlier we saw those deer just trying to get away, moving the opposite direction that the fire is moving. And that's something to also keep in mind because they, too, are affected. I'm Gigi Graciette, live in Malibu. We'll send it back to you.
Well, thank you, Gigi.
Thank you.
What an interesting perspective that neighbor Adam had.